Should Andre Ward have been disqualified against Sergey Kovalev in their rematch on Saturday night? This is the question that a lot of people are asking. There's a lot of people out there, particularly the hardcore Kovalev fans, who believe Ward should have been disqualified. I think Kathy Duver even said Ward should have been disqualified. My view is absolutely not. I think Ward should have been deducted a point, definitely. Because going into the 8th round, he'd already been warned twice for low blows. So there was definitely low blows before the fight was stopped. He should have been deducted a point in that round. That's my view. Now, the referee cannot see every single low blow, but some of the low blows, in my view, were so blatant that I can't understand how Tony Weeks didn't see them. So, Ward should have definitely been deducted a point. And when it comes to disqualifications, they normally happen, if it's something like low blows, they normally happen when a fighter has already been deducted at least 2 points. After he's been deducted 2 points, then the referee starts contemplating disqualifying the fighter. So let that happen and then start talking about maybe Ward should have been disqualified. But certainly at the very least, he should have been deducted a point. Especially the time when he was against the ropes and Ward started unloading. Some of those shots were clearly low. People want to talk about borderline. They were low. You know, I'm not into this whole thing about borderline. Borderline is when half of the glove lands on the body and the other half lands on the waistband. Not when the entire glove lands on the waistband / the actual trunks themselves. That's not borderline, as far as I'm concerned. And also it depends on how high your trunks are pulled up. Because some fighters pull their trunks up extremely high. And therefore the referee will say, look, punches on this waistband are good because you've pulled up your trunks way above your navel. I don't believe Kovalev's trunks were that high. They might have been slightly high, but they weren't crazy high. So my view is, yeah, Ward should have at least had a point deducted. Maybe even at that point when he had Kovalev against the ropes. And even without the low blow issue, let's say none of Ward's punches were low and they were all legitimate body shots. Should the fight have been stopped at the point that it was? No. This is why I keep telling you people this was a bad stoppage. Even if those were legitimate body shots, Kovalev hadn't even hit the ground yet. This was a world championship fight. This was a fight in which Kovalev was the puncher of the two. I know he got hurt in that round, but in the first fight, he managed to drop Andre Ward quite badly. So to stop the fight at that point in a championship fight when Kovalev hadn't even hit the canvas, yes, he was showing signs of distress. Yes, he'd been hurt in that round. But come on, people. Let's not have a Carl Froch, George Groves 1 type situation in which I was very critical of Howard Foster's stoppage in that fight. Let's not have a situation like that. You know, that situation was worse, obviously, because Groves had dropped Froch, but still, I feel like the stoppage was premature regardless of any low blows anyway. Now, this kind of brings me on to another fight which was on the card, which I'll make a separate video about, which Team Kovalev talked about, which was the Guillermo Rigondeaux-Moises Flores fight. And similarly, in that fight, I do not believe that Rigondeaux should have been disqualified. Absolutely not. What for? The punch which he hit Moises Flores with that ended the fight effectively was a punch after the bell, no question. But they were exchanging. They were in the middle of an exchange. So Flores was throwing shots after the bell just like Rigondeaux was. Rigondeaux just happened to land clean and down Moises Flores went. I believe that that fight should have been a no contest. The Rigondeaux-Moises Flores fight. Rigondeaux was holding and hitting prior to landing the knockout shot. He could have been warned for that, definitely. But the shot that ended the fight, he wasn't holding and hitting. So I think no contest might have been a better result. And even with the Andre Ward-Kovalev fight, I don't believe that should have been a no contest. I just think Ward should have been deducted a point for hitting low. And as Dwyer said, because he's made a couple of videos now about this fight, he said that if Ward had been deducted a point for hitting low on that occasion, Kovalev would have got up to 5 minutes to recover. And in that 5 minutes, it could have been crucial. He could have rejuvenated himself, got enough rest, recovered from the body shots as well as the low blows, and gone on to win the fight, potentially. Now, it looked in that round as though he was wilting anyway. Regardless of the low blows, he took a big right hand to the head. It hurt him. He was holding on for dear life. And, you know, Kovalev is talking some BS when he says he wasn't hurt by that shot because he was blatantly hurt. But still, he has his pride. He was trying to say that Ward ain't the toughest fighter he's fought, but then he couldn't mention who the toughest fighter he fought was, or the best fighter. So, that's whatever. Regardless of all that, like I say, I do believe that Ward should have got a point deducted. And, you know, Kovalev at that point could have recovered and gone on to, I mean, it was the 8th round. There was only 4 rounds left in the fight after that 8th. So if Kovalev had 5 minutes to recover, could he have seen out the fight? Probably. He would have certainly had a good chance to see out the fight if he had 5 minutes to recover, if he'd taken it all. So those are my thoughts, people. I'm sure some of you will agree, some of you will disagree. Obviously, the people who hate Andre Ward, and there are numerous people who hate Andre Ward, they have their agenda. Most of them, it's a very dubious agenda, which they won't admit to. But yeah, they have a very dubious agenda for hating Andre Ward. They come up with excuses. I'm here to be objective. When Ward does something bad, I'm going to call it out. When Kovalev does something bad, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to be fair. They're going to, you know, the biased people against Ward, they're going to call for Ward to be disqualified. No, he shouldn't have been disqualified. But point deduction, at least one, definitely. Stern warnings. When you disqualify a fighter, especially for something like low blows, you at least have to warn him first that you're going to disqualify him before you actually do it. Some people have compared Ward's low blows to Andrew Golota against Riddick Bowe. No. I was around in the 90s. I watched those fights live. Andrew Golota's low blow infringements were far more blatant and flagrant than Ward's were against Sergey Kovalev. Far more. It's not even comparable. Let's be honest. If you try to say they are, you haven't watched those fights, or you're just so ridiculously biased that your opinion and your views can't be taken seriously. In the rematch of Riddick Bowe, Andrew Golota got disqualified in the end because he'd thrown numerous low blows all the way through the fight. He got disqualified in the end for throwing a combination of punches below Riddick Bowe's waistline, literally in the cup area, not on the waistband or anywhere near the waistband, in the cup area. He threw a combination. It was like 3 shots, a combination into Riddick Bowe's groin. That's what got him disqualified, and he done it in the fight before as well. So no, you can't compare Andre Ward to Golota. A totally different scenario. Golota was far more flagrant, far more over the top, far more blatant with his low blows than Wood was, and far more numerous as well. Golota threw so many low blows, it was ridiculous. And again, he was warned in both fights for the ridiculous low blows before he got disqualified. Remember that fight the rematch went what? Was it 10 rounds or something like that? I can't remember now. A long time ago since I've seen those fights. The first fight I think went 8 or 9 rounds. So these fights went quite a distance, with Golota landing lots of low blows, getting warned several times before he got disqualified. I mean, you look at Henry Akinwande when he fought Lennox Lewis. That wasn't for low blows, but it was for excessive holding. He was warned sternly several times, if you don't stop holding, I'm going to disqualify you. He wasn't just the referee coming out and disqualifying him on the spot for excessive holding in a particular round. No, he was warned sternly. This is what's going to happen if you continue doing this. So I don't see any case to be made for Andre Ward getting disqualified against Kovalev. No, he would have had to have had at least 1 or 2 stern warnings. He would have had to have a point deduction before that, at least 1, before you can start talking about disqualifications. So those are my thoughts on it, people. Again, your views may differ, but if they do, Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let's all be respectful. Let's not start insulting each other. Let's keep this adult. And let's have a debate about it if there's a debate to be had. All right? It's happening. I'm out.